What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 1 of War Stories with Holdfast. This episode is titled The First Bullet, and in the background is some gameplay by my good buddy Falcon, which is kill confirmed on the map Plaza. So this was my roughly about my third month overseas on tour, and we hadn't come across a whole lot of action. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff, a few small IEDs and indirect rocket fire and stuff like that, but nothing major, nothing crazy as of yet. And on this day, I still remember the sun was just beating down like crazy. It was super hot, and being an engineer, one of our main roles is to do route clearances. That is basically where we walk in a formation with mine detectors and clear a specific route that is thought to be mined or have an IED in it, or just for safety precautions no matter what. So we were doing that as usual, and we'd done this probably thousands and thousands of times through training and all that kind of stuff, so it was nothing different. And we're walking along doing our thing, and we have infantry around us, watching around us at all times. And I remember one of the main guys, Mike, who was watching over us. He was one of the section commanders for the infantry. He'll come into play a little bit later. So we're just kind of doing our job, and out of nowhere we see this car come towards us, and he stops, kind of turns around and drives away, which is nothing out of the ordinary. Cars would come towards us, stop a few hundred meters away, and then either turn around and go the other way, or just stop and wait until we're done, and would pass by after we pass. On this case, the guy stopped, turned around and drove away, and we thought, nothing of it, just another driver trying to get by. Not too long after that, probably about 5 minutes after that, the same car comes towards us, this time a little bit slower, which again is not completely out of the ordinary. He's still a few hundred meters away. This time he's not really slowing down completely. He doesn't come to a complete stop. So as usual, our buddy Mike up in the vehicles signaled to the guy to stop, and he kind of stopped. And we went back to doing our thing, clearing the route with our mine detectors as usual. And my head was down at this point, staring down at my mine detector, looking through some stuff. And I hear the snap, and it was a pen flare, basically a flare the size of a pen that you can shoot, and resembles a tracer round or a tracer bullet. That's just kind of a red light through the sky. So Mike fired this off at the guy, kind of get him to stop or scare him. I think we're shooting a bullet at him, just to kind of scare him away. And this kind of worked in the opposite way that we wanted it to. The guy ended up speeding up towards us. At this point, me and my buddies all kind of just froze for a second, waiting for something to happen for the car either to stop or keep coming so that we would know what to do. At that point, we saw Mike yelling at the guy, and he shot what was the first bullet into the engine to try and scare the guy a little bit more. This did nothing to the guy. He kept on driving. So that was our signal to run like the wind. We hauled it and got into our vehicle as fast as possible. We're behind it, which was good. At this point, he was just maybe 100 meters, or probably over 100 meters still. And as soon as we got back in the vehicles, that is when the infantry opened fire and basically lit this car up 1,000 times over. There was more bullets in this car than there probably should have been, but that's okay. Justifiably so, as I'll tell you in a minute. So they were opening fire. The car ended up coming to a stop probably about 100 meters away from us, if that, maybe 75. And the driver inside, the insurgent, was clearly not alive anymore. Once everything was kind of settled down, of course we send the engineers forward to inspect, which again was us. So me and a friend of mine, one of my buddies, cleared the route with our mine detectors to check it out, do a little sweep, made it to the vehicle, and used the kit to just check underneath the vehicle and around it and take a look without touching as much as possible. And the first thing that popped into my mind was, why is there a switch duct taped to the dashboard? So clearly this was a plan of some sort. So we made it back to our vehicle, and our Sarge said, okay, let's hook up a hook and line kit to some blankets in the back to see if there's anything underneath them. So he walked up, hooked that up, pulled the blankets off, He walked up by himself, inspected, came back, and said a quote that I'll never forget. "Holy balls, guys, we got a big one." That's what Serge said. He reported back that we had three 350-pound aircraft bombs inside the back of that vehicle. It wasn't too long after that day. We ended up blowing those all up, and it wasn't too long after that we found out that if that had gone off, probably a dozen or more Canadian soldiers would have died that day. And we also found out that the insurgent inside the vehicle was hitting the switch as hard as he could, but the wire leading from the switch to the engine battery was severed by that first bullet.